Yesterday was a really tough day for me. And it was a tough day. It started off terribly because, and this will maybe shock my colleagues here, but this is a 100% true statement of fact. I knew yesterday was going to go poorly when around 5:30 p.m. I found out from firsthand sources that Kevin Wildes doesn't consider me a friend. Got a call from someone that said, hey, I asked Wildes if he's made any new friends in the last 3 years, and his answer was no. And I'm like, well, that's intriguing because I met Wildes in the last 3 years. Wow. Oh, without context. Well, it's true. So I was like, oh, that's not great for me. A buddy of mine, well, I thought a buddy of mine doesn't even think of me as a friend. Just someone he has to work with. And then I watched Luka, my large adult Slovenian son, play poorly in an elimination game for the first time since he was 13 years old, and that night he had stayed up all night playing Halo, and I told him, get to bed, you have a big game tomorrow, and he's like, Dad, I got it. And then it was terrible, and it was terrible. So, listen, I'm a gambler, and many a night at the Baccarat table, Brew, I have just been flying high. And I have an opportunity to cash out my chips with a nice, healthy bounty. And instead I have visions of them like building a statue of me in front of the casino, the man who broke us. And you know how those nights end? Much like last night ended with me, like I had so much and now I have so little. I was the rightest man in America on Suns Mavs, and now somehow I'm the wrongest man in America on Mavs Warriors, because I did say this series was going to end in 5, and it did. But it was the old reversal. And so it's not great. So the Mavs, however, should feel a little better than me. Here's what I will say about the Mavs quickly, Brew. I think the Mavs had a wonderful season. I think Luka proved he is without question one of the 3 best players in the sport. I also think the Mavs need to figure out the Jalen Brunson question. Is he good enough to be Luka's second star? I don't think he is. And Luka, and I say this, Brew, from a place of love, he's old enough now, he's accomplished enough now, he must come into next season in better shape. Because if they are not able to get a second star, he is going to have to do everything again. And what we have seen is you can only do everything for so long, particularly if you're not in tip-top shape. The best players in the world historically, LeBron, Giannis, hell, Steph Curry, they're in amazing physical conditioning. Yep. And Luka's not. So that's the part of his game he needs to work on. The Mavs have some team-building stuff to work on as far as co-stars. And I have some, bridge loans to take out because of this series. But aside from that, I'm all right. I know I can't ask Wildes for a bridge loan, Brew, because he's not my friend. Stop. But maybe you'll help me out. But go ahead. No, it's happened, Wildes. Listen, man.
Yes, I do. Unlike some people on the panel, I consider you a friend. Ever since we met 6 years ago at the Newark Airport for lunch.
Newark Airport.
That's right. Yes, you're my buddy.
Of course.
I'm not gonna pounce.
Classy
I could.
joint.
Where do you want to meet?
I could
Newark
talk about
Airport?
the way I've regrouped from a couple bad picks early in the playoffs, but I won't. And I'm gonna give you this, Nick. I will give you this. Picking Dallas to beat Phoenix, you went out on a limb, and that was a good pick. It proved to be a good pick, so you can definitely hold your chest out about that. But I think the Mavs, to your point, they had a great season. Luka was phenomenal. They honestly have nothing to hang their heads about. They went further than everyone except Nick predicted that they would. And so they had a great year. And Nick, you talked about Luka and his improvement. I think Luka proved that I wouldn't go as far as you to say he's already an all-time great playoff performer. I still think he needs more games to do that. I think he needs probably to win a championship before we're really going to say that. But he's en route. He is en route when you look at his individual ability and production, the impact he has on winning, and the team success he's had so far in only his 4th year at 23 years old. He's on course to become an all-time great. but it's going to come down to winning championships, and you know that. All right, no matter how well he does individually, if he doesn't win rings, he's only going so high. And here's the thing. You mentioned him getting in better shape, but there are other things they need to work on. He talked about his defense getting better next year, having to get better. And I like the fact that he addressed that. And all he has to do is be engaged. He's not going to be a phenomenal defender, but if he's engaged, if he puts forth the effort, partly by being in better shape, that'll help him.
Right.
But Nick, I don't think, and this is why I didn't pick them to win this series, or one reason at least. I think you can only go so far. I think there's a ceiling when you're a one-man show. All right, LeBron never won it, by himself. Michael Jordan never won it doing everything. Wilt Chamberlain never won it when he averaged 50 and 44 and 38 and 37. All right, this has a ceiling, absolutely, and even throw in even James Harden if you like. And what the Mavericks need to do is find a way that they can look at film. This looks a lot like LeBron's first stint in Cleveland. After 2007, when they lost to the Spurs in the finals, all of us, I imagine, were thinking, oh, LeBron's about to win it with Cleveland, with this team. Even though they don't have a second guy, he's winning it pretty soon. And he couldn't because it really hasn't been done. And they need to find a way to maximize a second star alongside Luka. It probably will have to be Jalen Brunson initially, even though he's not on that level. But a second star is not, I don't know that he's going to want to go play with Luka. Because if you're a guy that can create your own shot, can go off the dribble, can create stuff for other teammates, I don't know how excited you're going to be about playing next to Luka. And they can do it, but they got to figure out the perfect way to do it.
Can I just respond to that quickly? Because I've heard, listen, the Wilt didn't win when he averaged 50 and Michael didn't win when he was averaging 35. I think it's a little misleading. The year Wilt averaged 50, for the record, they lost in Game 7 by 2 points to Bill Russell. So, they were good enough to win the title. They were a bucket away from, and they lost to an all-time dynasty. Jordan didn't change. You look at Jordan's playoff averages, field goal attempts, all of it. When they won their second and third titles, he was nearly 30 shots per game. Why did they win then? He didn't change. They got another great player in Scottie Pippen.
He wasn't ball dominant. It was the system. He wasn't ball dominant.
Fair, but
he was not the system.
That's a fair point.
The system was the
triangle.
That's the
correct.
system.
That's correct. But I guess the point I would make is this, Wilds. First of all, we don't know that this is the way Luka wants to play, as opposed to the way Luka has to play.
Agreed.
Because he's never had a top 50 player in the league alongside him until maybe Jalen Brunson this time. And I do agree, Wilds, that a Luka, who's another ball-dominant great player, a Luka LeBron in his prime, that pairing kind of wouldn't make sense. But a Luka prime Klay Thompson, or a Luka Joel Embiid, or a Luka, another guy, like you've said, Kevin Durant. There are other stars that don't have to have the ball all the time that I do think those pairings would work. So I think we need to see how Luka would react if there was a great player to defer to.
Quickly. I agree. Like LeBron got D Wade. LeBron got Kyrie and Anthony Davis. If Luka can get a teammate that good, top 5, top 7 teammate, they can win it even playing this way because they'll be so good. But if they don't, if you just get like a regular all-star who's really good, I don't know if it's going to work.
Were you like Rudy Gobert? Rudy Gobert might be being traded soon. Maybe the Rudy Gobert-Luka matchup that Nick has been dreaming about. Oh, love one guy, dislike another one. I guess I got to just like them both now. All right, so here's my take, Nick, and I want your feedback on it. I think there's too much optimism in the Western Conference. Everyone got eliminated or didn't make the playoffs, and they sit back and say, you know what? We'll be better next year. The Lakers will be better. The Pelicans will be better. There's Chris Paul's like, we're going to be back. The Mavs will be better. Oh, the Blazers. Everyone thinks they're going to be better. I almost think that Mark Cuban and Nico need to go into this offseason pessimistic. They need to go pessimistic, like, you know what? We might not be better. This might be the ceiling of where we're at, and we have to aggressively move. And here's why. I know it's a year ago, but we were saying the same stuff about Trae Young. We can look at the numbers Trae Young put up, and granted, he got swept, and Luka won one game, but Trae Young was doing the same thing. Same draft class.
No, he wasn't.
Man, the Hawks are moving. We're headed in the right direction. Oh, John Collins is so good. But these numbers are the same, and the Hawks flamed out this year. So, look, I think the Mavs need to be way more aggressive than like, hey, run it back. You got to go hard after a start, or you could be in the same spot the Hawks are in.
All right, I agree with the go hard after a star. I don't believe Trae. Those particular numbers might be similar. The impact on the game between Trae and Luka is demonstrably different. And however weak of a defender Luka is, he's not Trae Young on that end. I also agree with you. The West is going to be brutal. What the Mavs have going for them is they have the best player in the conference. And so they are going to be live, and they do get Tim Hardaway Jr. back, who had been Luka's best teammate his whole time there until the emergence of Jalen Brunson. But yeah, they need to get better to win a title. There's no question about it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.